Well, hey guys, good morning. Got ourselves a little bit of a ride planned today. The weather is going to be, well, interesting. It's overcast, chilly, a little damp, but it promises to clear up a little bit later on today. Partly cloudy, temperatures high 60s, low 70s, almost no chance of rain. With our luck, it'll still get rained on, but that's okay. Where are we going? Well, we're going to take a lap around the swamp. The Great Dismal Swamp is one of those areas that sort of impedes our travel options in this region. We got the Atlantic Ocean to the east, the Chesapeake Bay to the north, the Albemarle Sound and that area down to the south. We've got the Great Dismal Swamp. So for a day ride, we're sort of limited to where we can go. We still have a lot of options, but it'd be different if we were like in the middle of Kansas, where we had 360 degrees on the compass we can go to. But here we're limited. So Miriam said we need to get out of the house and enjoy Memorial Day, so that's what we're going to do. All set? Our route today is pretty simple. We're going to make a lap around the Great Dismal Swamp, taking US 17 to South Mills, then US 158 west to Tar Heel, and by the way, there's a great barbecue stand there. Then up US 13 to Suffolk, and then headed back home. So we're on the road about 3 minutes, and the temperature has already gotten to Miriam, and we have to add another layer. It's hard to believe that here it is, almost the end of May, and the temperature is still March or April kind of weather.
It does feel like April.
Yeah. We're about 5 weeks out from the Shenandoah National Park trip and meet up. Maybe hopefully meet up with a few of our Fairview folks. And the last update a couple days ago, the Shenandoah National Park is open. The Skyline Drive, the hiking trails are open. The facilities are not open yet. The lodges, the restaurants, all the other support features, gift shops, and so forth. And we're gonna kind of need those. You're kind of isolated up on top of that mountain. It'd be a long drive to go off the mountain every time you want to have a bite to eat. So we're gonna keep an eye on things. We are able to bring our own food with us and prepare it away from the hotel, providing the hotel's open. So we're just kind of keeping an eye on that. It's right now it's just wait and see, and we'll go from there. Some other folks are out. You know, even though it's not the most pleasant day in the world to ride, a little chilly, a little wet. I'd rather be out riding than sitting at home watching television. So anyway, so that is the July 4th trip update. We stopped at the North Carolina Visitor Center and Rest Area along US 17. The Visitor Center area was closed because of the virus, and Miriam told me that she would love to have a hot cup of coffee. Never to fear, I have my kit. With the adjoining picnic tables, we took an impromptu coffee break. So how's the coffee?
Oh, it's good. It's just so chilly today. Doesn't feel like, what is it, May 25th?
Yeah. And I know we had a comment on the channel about why don't I just bring a thermos of coffee. Well, I never know when we're going to want to have coffee. This was an afterthought. I just always, my kit that always goes with me. And so Miriam said, I want some coffee. And we stopped at the rest stop here, and I said, I can make us a cup. And she goes, okay. So it was a good idea. By the way, this rest stop, if you look behind us, this body of water, which is very scenic.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It is part of the Intercoastal Waterway.
Feeds into the Dismal Swamp, doesn't it?
Huh?
Doesn't it feed into the Dismal Swamp?
No, it's the Intercoastal Waterway. It goes, I forgot how far up north to way down south. So the Intercoastal Waterway was surveyed by a young fellow you may have heard of, George Washington. He was one of the first surveyors to survey this. And it's pretty good survey. It's a pretty straight line. The purpose of the Intercoastal Waterway, way back before there were roads of any real type, and before steam engines were produced, the only way to move goods around more efficiently was on water. And yeah, we have the ocean in front of us, but that's subject to weather. It's subject to problems, especially during the Revolutionary War and World War II, with other governments who decide to interdict our commerce. So the purpose of the Intercoastal Waterway was to connect all the bodies of water along the eastern seaboard, so you had an inland waterway to move commerce. And this was surveyed and has been around since George Washington's time. Still used, some for commercial commerce, a lot more for recreational purposes, a lot of pleasure boats, but it's immune from foreign powers who are trying to interdict our waterway. During World War II, the best way to move supplies and goods was either by rail or by water, and this really helped quite a bit. And this pandemic has given me the opportunity to give a lot of time to focus on a big trip for next year. Talking with Miriam about options. You know, I laid some options down on the table, and she seemed to be really excited about a big one. So right now it looks like Asphalt Odyssey 2021 will be a cross-continent trip from the East Coast to the West Coast. Where on the West Coast? Don't know yet. California coast, Oregon coast, something like that. Everybody's in a hurry. And we think the trip, with a nice pace with rest days built into it, is going to be about 45 days total. Miriam will be joining me. Just say, for example, one of the options on the table is the California coast, probably like San Francisco. Miriam would join me in San Francisco, and from there we would tour the Coast Highway, then go inland to the Redwood National Park, or the tall trees, then Yosemite, and then back to San Francisco to put on a plane. We think that portion will take 10 days, and then I will ease it on back. Looking at a route. So we don't really, like I said, we don't really know yet. It's a year away. We're thinking about departing mid-May, coming back late June, early July. It's going to be a big one. And lessons learned from last year is pace myself. I was in get-home-itis mode, and that was a mistake. I'm going to compel myself to take rest days and not to put as many miles per day as I tried to put in last year, which wore me out. When I got home last year from the Asphalt Odyssey, I was exhausted. I was exhausted for about a week and a half. The thought of getting up the Spyder for a few weeks was not appealing. But anyway, we the love came back. The love came back, and enough so that I want to go out and do it again. So we're on Route 158, heading west off of 17. The Great Dismal Swamp is now to our right, just above that tree line over there. And why is it called the Great Dismal Swamp? Well, it's a great big swamp. All kinds of creatures live in there, bear, deer, wild hogs, snakes, everything. There have been reported sightings of alligators. That's not been confirmed by the National Wildlife Service, because the habitat for alligators is still, I think, about 60 miles south of here. But you know, there's a good chance they could have some migrated up here into the swamp. We recently, as of this week, had a bear sighting, and it was a good sighting. They got it on video in a subdivision called Kings Grant, which is way up north of Virginia Beach. How that bear got there is anybody's guess. Anyway, back to the swamp. How big is it? Well, it's pretty good size. I'm going to put the, if I can find the square miles in the video here. This area is dotted with former military air bases. There's one right on the edge of the swamp. Military air bases of the World War II era are easily recognizable because of the triangular shaped pattern that they use. Right after World War II, around Korea, they had a single-engine military fighter, a piston type, had an engine malfunction, pilot bailed out, saw the airplane go into the swamp, and they have yet to find it. It's probably underneath one of the bogs over there. And
Dismal swamp. The water level seems kind of high. It's amazing the trees that seem to be immersed in the water. And the lily pads are just going wild. They look thick enough that you could almost walk on top of them. I don't know what kind of birdhouses those are. Maybe for ducks? I'm not certain. It's kind of cool. Something different. John found us a spot to have a picnic at Merchants Mill Pond Park. Merchants Mill Pond State Park. Coming up on high noon. Oh, it's a pretty visitor center. There we go, picnic tables.
That's lunch. Some fruit, celery, hummus,
sesame sticks,
Vienna sausages,
cheddar cheese,
and Vienna
apple.
sausages with Tabasco. And parked right next to the Spyder in the state park. What is the state park? Mill Pond something State Park in North Carolina, right off Route 158. Visitor center is closed, but the bathrooms are open. It's the most important part.
Well, we're getting close to home. It's been a good trip, although it sure doesn't feel like the end of May. The temperature's been so cool, and although the weather forecast was partly sunny, the sunny part only came out on a couple of occasions. So in fact, when we started this morning, it was quite chilly. But it's been a good breath of fresh air and a good quiet meditation, I guess. Although I don't know I've had any inspiring thoughts. I just reflective on life, I guess, in general. And for some reason thinking a lot about my grandparents, I guess because we went through a lot of farmland, and that was, I associate that with them. And yeah, I don't know, I guess it's good to put your mind on pause every now and again. Quite a contrast to our ride last weekend. It really felt like summer then. Summer will be here soon enough.
Well, here we are at a crossroads. If I go left, go southwest, towards California. If I go right, it takes us northeast back home. Decisions. Prudence wins over. Heading back home. Good ride. And I know what you're thinking. What? No bourbon? Come on, guys. It's only 2:45 in the afternoon. So what'd you think?
Oh, it's enjoyable. A little bit cool.
To start out.
Borderline cold when we
This
started.
morning, yeah. A little misty.
Yeah. Not much sun,
Yeah.
but some pretty scenery. I really, Chesapeake is a surprise to me. I really don't know Chesapeake very well, and there's some pretty properties, pretty landscapes in Chesapeake.
Yeah.
I wish we could have seen more of the Dismal Swamp. We just had that one stretch,
Yeah.
which was cool, but I would have liked to have seen more.
I'm disappointed we didn't see any alligators.
Or bears.
Or bears.
Yeah, we have a bear in Virginia Beach the last couple of days, which...
I already talked about that.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Well, I didn't hear you.
Okay.
Would have liked to have seen a bear. Oh, it's a pretty spot that you found for our lunch, that Merchants Mill Pond State Park.
Yes, thank goodness for Google Earth, when you could look at a route from the satellite view beforehand, and especially when I Googled parks along the route on Google Maps, and it came up in a nice little place. I saw some picnic tables there on the satellite view, and so that's where we stopped for lunch today.
Yeah, and rocking chairs in the back of the visitor center.
I never made it that far. I took a crash and burn in the front. It was a nice little nap. By the way, how do we pronounce the name of the chairs? Helinox?
Something like that.
Yes, they are now nap approved. Well, guys, we're done for today. Gonna finish unpacking some stuff and just kind of wind down today. Chilling. So until next time.
Y'all take care.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Now we can get out the bourbon.